Yo, what's good, y'all? Welcome back to Kid Taj, and this is a follow-up video to the Carmelo Anthony trade that might seem like such a long time ago. We just had Dwayne Wade sign with the Cavs. I have a video on that. If you haven't seen that, it's the most recent video on my channel, but I had to make this follow-up video because for the Carmelo Anthony trade video, I didn't get far enough to discuss all of the possible outcomes, all of the things that, like, man, what could this mean? What could this mean for Paul George? And what could this mean for Russell Westbrook? But that question has been answered. We know Russell Westbrook just signed a huge extension, one that we weren't even sure he was going to sign in the first place, because before the Melo trade, you look at that roster, you got Russ, you got PG. That's a pretty kick-ass dynamic duo. But besides that, you really don't have a lot. And, of course, you don't have a guarantee that Paul George is staying in Oklahoma City long term, or literally any longer than this season. So, Russell Westbrook, I understand why he might be unsure of signing that extension because of what's the future state of the team. And if this doesn't tell you anything, it should. The fact that Russell is now very inclined to sign this extension as soon as Melo is traded to the team. Just a week after the trade, Russell Westbrook inks this big deal, and you gotta put two and two together that this happened because Russell's thinking like, look, we got PG, we got Melo, this is safe. I want to stay here. I think we have a good squad here. I think we can make some noise. I don't know. I'm hoping that he's hoping that they win the championship. That they all think they can win the championship because, yes, we need more competition in this league. And if this trade does anything, it makes the West more interesting. It throws another really good team in there to compete with all the others. It's going to be literally a dogfight in the West all year and in the playoffs. The Western Conference is going to be ridiculous next year. The Eastern Conference, let's not talk about that. We know that the Cavs are literally going to run through everybody en route to another NBA Finals berth. So, yeah. Anyway, but we're going to talk about the Thunder as a championship contender, because if Russell Westbrook is content with the situation, content enough to ink this extension, does this mean that he thinks that this is the team that they could win a championship with? And I know there's gonna be like two types of people in these comment sections, two types of people watching this video. It's gonna be the people that are saying, hell no, Melo doesn't fit, you need 3 basketballs. These guys, especially Russ and Melo, are selfish. They just want to chuck up shots. They don't care about their teammates. They just want the money or the stats or whatever. At the end of games, this team is going to just choke. The cohesiveness of a team like the Warriors or the Spurs is going to be way too much for them. And even mentioning the Thunder as a championship contender is delusional thought, okay? There's going to be that type of people. And there's going to be people like, hell yeah, OKC is the favorite. OKC can fuck with Golden State. At least they can, stay in a series with Golden State. OKC can now contend for a title. OKC has, a shot at winning the NBA Finals. And of course, technically every team has a shot. But especially in the NBA, you know how hard it is to beat the Cavs or the Warriors in their respective conferences. It's nearly impossible with the teams that are in those conferences with them. The Warriors were beatable until they got Kevin Durant, and they're basically unbeatable except for the Spurs, but Kawhi Leonard got injured, maybe not so coincidentally, but that's besides the point. I can't be salty about that. Now, the point is that you can build a dope team in, especially the Western Conference. You can build a dope team, but no matter how good your team is still going to be contending against 5 other powerhouse groups in the West. And I'm talking about Golden State, San Antonio, Houston, OKC, and Minnesota. And then after that, you still have other good teams like the Clippers, like the Nuggets, maybe the Blazers are going to put it together. I mean, okay, we start to get into teams where it's like, okay, you don't know if they're actually going to be good. But we know for sure that there are 5 teams that they're going to be real good next season. Minnesota is a wild card because a lot could go wrong there. And I guess OKC could too, but think about it. Russell Westbrook took the sorry-ass team he had last year to 48 wins and a 6 seed. So I think if you add PG and Melo and you keep Adams and Robertson, you shouldn't be doing any worse than 48 wins. And if you do, yeah, there's something really wrong. And Paul George is not going to stay, and it's just going to be a train wreck. But anyway, come on. That's not going to happen. We all know that if Westbrook led that team to 48 games, they got to be better this year. They have to. That team was like the worst fit for Russell Westbrook, and somehow he led them to the playoffs, which, like, to me is still ridiculous. I know people are going to talk about how Russell Westbrook isn't going to be able to coexist with other superstars, but I do think that after all these years in the NBA, Russell Westbrook's attitude about winning, I think, has improved. After seeing what happened last year, Russell, with all those players, I know that Russell has always wanted to be that guy that just does everything, but I think he might be realizing, like, yeah, I need people like this. And hopefully he's realizing that he needs to sacrifice and he needs to be able to get along with these guys and play with these guys if he wants to win. And I think that's really what he wants to do. So I think that he will do a better job at, being more unselfish and not doing everything himself, because he does have that reputation, and a lot of times it's a negative one. So, I know, of course, it's going to be a question of how these guys get along, but I have to circle back to the main topic of, is this team really a contender? And I have said it, they're going to be better than a 6 seed next year. They have to be, and they're going to win at least 50 games. They won like 48 last year, right? Maybe it was 45. I hope I'm right with that 48 number. I hope I'm not wrong with that, because I think I've been saying that a lot this video and in other videos, but they'll win at least 50. I'm almost positive. And I think that they'll have a good regular season, but I do think that the playoff success of a team like this has such a higher ceiling than last year's team. And to tell you the truth, Carmelo Anthony's addition really spurred this conversation. And I think that's probably the biggest problem with this whole idea, this whole contending idea, because look, yes, I do think that there is a chance if these guys play together seamlessly, if they work it out, if they really want to get to know each other's skill set, get to know how to play with each other, like if they're committed to that and things just fall the right way for them and they get on the same page and they start playing their highest potential, yes, I do think at this team's highest potential, they are a championship contender. I think that this could really work. However, what are the chances of that? What are the chances that Russell Westbrook, Carmelo Anthony, and Paul George find a way to divide ball handling opportunities? They find a way to figure out who's going to take the shots late. They find a way to, get everybody shots, keep everybody happy, and still, stay pretty healthy and play to their best potential, right? Because if one guy has an off year, if like Paul George has his worst year in 3 years, this team's not winning a championship. So you need a ton of stuff to go right. But if those things go right, yes, this team could win the championship. With all these teams in the West, with the Cavs still to play, do I think they could beat the Cavs? Probably not. The Warriors, almost definitely not. But like I said, hey man, if these guys really know it, I think they have the potential to beat anyone. This is one of these teams, I feel like they're going to lose to some bad teams and beat the Warriors and Cavs a few times. Like, I feel like they're that kind of team. They're going to be really inconsistent, but they will be able to put together. Some nights, Paul George won't miss. Paul George will have a night where he hits 10 threes, and they won't be able to lose that game. Same thing could happen to Carmelo Anthony, because these two guys, we know they can catch fire. But in the end, yeah, like I said, I like this team. I think that this is a really good trade. I think that for the future, it's like, man, Paul George is still in his prime. The guy's not old. He's not even close to old. Melo is a little bit old, but Russell Westbrook's in his prime and PG's in his prime. And if these guys stay together, God forbid if they stay together, Paul George, if he's really set on LA, then that's going to be a problem. But I think that this team is on the right track. And the Melo thing might work, it might not, but the foundation for the Oklahoma City Thunder is very good. And I think that contending is something that should be in their future, whether it's this year, whether it's the next few. This team is going to be good. They're going to be good next year. They're not going to be bad. They're not going to miss the playoffs or anything. The question is, will they be good or will they be great? And I'm going to say they're going to be good. I don't think they're winning a championship, but I do think they can make some noise in the playoffs. I think they're going to have some ridiculous games, and we'll see from there, man. But it's going to be very exciting. I'm not always right about everything, so, you know, I'm open to the possibility of being wrong and the Thunder winning the championship. I wouldn't be mad at that. Let's just say that. But, yeah, that's going to do it. I'm out. Thanks for watching, y'all. Peace.